has to be another way.
Indeed there does, because I don't need to be paying $5 a gallon.
True that.
True that. Thank you.
So who would Bart Simpson vote for?
He's only 10. Hi, caramba.
What Barack Obama wants to do is make sure that the middle class, 95% of the middle class, gets those tax breaks too, so that Main Street and Wall Street share in the tax benefits equally. Your vote counts. Thank you.
Thank you, Giselle. And unfortunately, the representative from McCain's party is not here tonight. Dutch Merrick is an activist filmmaker and executive board member of the Yahtzee Local Number 44. He has made his living for more than a decade as an art director or prop master on a variety of shows from CSI NY to Crank Yankers. Ladies and gentlemen, for at least 6 more days, he will be working more than full-time as a director and producer for the Nader Gonzalez Presidential campaign. Please help me welcome Dutch Merrick.
Wow, I thought I was going to follow the McCain guy. How do I? I have a sneaking suspicion in here that most of the votes here are going to Obama already, so I'm doing just what Ralph Nader does. I'm fighting a pitched battle. Someone told me the other day, they said, you should look up your page on the IMDb, the Internet Movie Database. You know, it's pretty interesting to have a resume for everybody. So I looked myself up, Dutch Merrick, and I have a popularity meter, and it said that my star meter had declined by 80%. I'm pretty sure someone called Hollywood and told him I was working for Nader. The best way I can explain Ralph Nader and his positions and the positions of the third party is just to explain it first person. And I'll make a note, the DonkaPhant, the symbol of the Independent Party is the buffalo, and I don't know if it sticks out of the middle. Maybe we could Photoshop it in there. A couple of years ago, I had an epiphany myself as a film crew guy. I'm one of the guys out there doing the 14-hour days, working the cold nights and the early mornings. I was a Republican for 10 years, a Democrat after that, and each of those parties left me in the lurch. I had to take their whole list to be one of them. I said, this doesn't apply to me. I said, what can I do? I see this system. I see what's going on. I see our economy tanking. I see we're in wars of aggression with no end in sight. Our social nets are going away. Progressives all lined up for whoever the Democratic candidate's going to be. Well, do they really speak to you? They're the Democrat, and we've got to win this. We've got to vote against the bad guy because we're trying to get the Republicans out of office. That doesn't make any sense. If they're going to sell out and perpetuate the same policies that they have for 30 years, what's the change? Where's the hope? Why don't we have a minimum wage that is the same as it was in 1968? If it was matched, adjusted for inflation, we'd be making $10 an hour, and there's people out there making $5 and $6 an hour. I haven't heard any of these candidates talk about that. Marriage rights. I don't care if a man and a man want to get married. That doesn't affect my marriage. I'm stronger than that. He supports that. Hello? Single-payer health care is what most of the free world has. Most of the Western world has not-for-profit, single-payer health care. You can travel north to Canada, you can go throughout Europe, and there are people that are healthy and happy, and they're not filing bankruptcies en masse because they cannot afford a surprise cancer or a car accident, that they're not covered. So when a Barack Obama says everyone should be covered through insurance, if you can afford the insurance, that's great. So why do we have a pay-or-die system? If I don't have the dough, that's it. You're done. Those are the types of issues that we really need to be speaking about. The biggest smoking gun that's sitting out there in front of everybody that the Democratic Party and the Republicans have taken off of the table, it's war. We are in 2 wars of aggression, and we're looking at more. We just attacked Syria and Pakistan, and we're going over borders. Who's talking about stopping that? You've got 2 candidates that say that we need to win. Well, what is win? Is win pulling out, saving face, and trying to smooth out that entire region so it doesn't blow up? How many thousands of U.S. troops that have died and been brought home? Here's the bigger question. How many non-Americans have died in these conflicts? The British journal The Lancet declared over a year ago that there's 1 million dead people in Iraq as collateral damage. We need to get out now. Californians are in a unique position. California, it looks like, is going to be a landslide for Barack Obama, which is fantastic. There's a chance we may keep McCain out of office, and I'm all for that. Here's the situation. If you jump on board the train and you perpetuate that, and they offer you policies that are not good for you, and you buy into the system that they offer you as it is, and it's not your system, you're allowing them to take over. You're allowing them to give you what they want, not what you want. This is a representative democracy. We need to make demands on our leaders. If we want to be heard, here's your opportunity. Think back to 1965. Ralph Nader, young upstart attorney, took on General Motors, one of the most powerful corporations in the world. Young attorney single-handedly went after them and says, "Why did you stop putting seatbelts in cars? People are dying. We know that they're dying, and you're working against the health and welfare of people? How can you do that?" He sued them in federal court and won. He took them on from day one. Since then, he started foundations and organizations for civic rights, people's rights. People don't understand. They forget what he's done. FOIA, the Freedom of Information Act, Ralph Nader. OSHA, Occupational Safety Health Administration, Ralph Nader. Clean Air Act, Ralph Nader. Clean Water Act, Ralph Nader. He's been there fighting for us as a voice, period, without taking corporate money all these years. What do we really want? Do we want workers' rights? Do we want safety protection? Do we want health care? Do we want to end the war? Here is the unique opportunity that Californians have that is different than many of the battleground states. Since Obama is pretty much a lock for California, you can go ahead and vote for Obama, and your vote will be part of the herd. When people decide to break from the herd mentality and actually be heard, and you vote for an independent candidate like Ralph Nader, you'll make a difference. When he jumps from 5% to 6%, the big parties go, whoa, we got to start reacting. We got to start shifting in their direction, or we're going to have a revolution. That's what happened with the abolitionists. People don't realize that. The abolitionists that wanted to get rid of slavery did not have a political party. They got 10%. And because they got 10% in the polls, the two major parties had to adopt, and they got rid of slavery. Were those parties against slavery? No, they weren't. But because of a movement of the people that we can start here and now with Ralph Nader, we can be heard. Thank you.
Thank you, Dutch.